November 9th, 1958, Libya, Sahara Desert. A British petroleum oil exploration team was conducting geological surveys in the desert. Between sand dunes, they saw something, metal gleaming, shining in the sun. They approached. It was an aircraft, but this was no ordinary desert wreck. B-24 Liberator bomber, American, 4 engines. The aircraft was in almost perfect condition, glass intact, fuselage solid, wings in place. It had been in the Sahara for 16 years, but it looked like it landed yesterday. They opened the door, went inside. The cockpit was clean, controls in place. They turned on the radio, it worked. They checked the guns, oiled, clean, ready to fire. In the rear section, they found a box, opened it. Inside were bottles of lemonade. They opened one, still drinkable. But there was a problem. Where was the crew? 9 men, no trace. Then the search began. February 1960, 100 miles north, bodies were found. Diaries were beside them. They read the diaries, and everyone cried. Day 3, walked 85 miles, no water. More collapsed. Day 5, Hatton died. God help us. Day 8, I'm going to. 16 years earlier, 9 men had bailed out of this aircraft, and they all walked in the wrong direction. If they had walked 20 miles south, they would have found the aircraft. Inside was water, radio, life. But they walked north, and they all died. This is the story of Lady Be Good. But what you're about to hear gets even more heartbreaking. Let's go back 16 years earlier. April 4th, 1943, Libya, Soluch Air Base. 376th Bomb Group, 514th Squadron. Morning briefing. Commander pointed to the map. Target, Naples, Italy. Port facilities, cut Nazi supply lines. Routine bombing mission, they'd flown hundreds. But this mission would be the last for 9 men. Crew, 9 men, young, most in their 20s. Pilot, First Lieutenant William J. Hatton, 24 years old, experienced, calm, leader. Co-pilot, Second Lieutenant Robert F. Toner, 24 years old, smart, kept a diary, recorded every mission. Navigator, Second Lieutenant D.P. Hayes, 23 years old. Maps, routes, calculations, everything depended on him. Bombardier, Second Lieutenant John S. Warovka, 22 years old, youngest officer. Engineer, TSGT Harold S. Ripslinger, 31 years old, oldest, most experienced. Radio operator, TSGT Robert E. Lamont, 21 years old. Gunners, SSGT Guy E. Shelley, 23 years old. SSGT Vernon L. Moore, 20 years old. SSGT Samuel E. Adams, 21 years old. 9 men, 1 team, 1 family. None would return home. Aircraft, B-24D Liberator, Lady Be Good, serial 412430. The name was painted on the nose, Lady Be Good, from the famous 1940s song. 4-engine heavy bomber could carry 10 tons of bombs. The crew boarded the aircraft. Hatton said, "Easy day today, boys. We bomb Naples, come back, make it for dinner." Toner laughed. "Hope we don't get lost this time." Nobody knew this joke would become reality. April 4, 1943, 1430 hours. 25 B-24 bombers took off, formed up. Target, 500 miles away, Naples, Italy. Lady Be Good at the back of formation, one of the slower aircraft. 1800 hours over Naples. German-Italian air defense began, flak, anti-aircraft guns. The sky filled with black smoke. Hatton, hold formation, entering bomb zone. Bombardier Warovka, target locked, dropping bombs. Bombs fell, hit port facilities. "Bombs away, turning around," Hatton said. But the return would be catastrophic. They fell out of formation. Lady Be Good was slow. Other aircraft accelerated, pulled away. Toner, lost formation, we're alone. Hatton, no problem, following the route, we'll make it back to Libya. But Navigator Hayes was about to make a mistake. Night fell, darkness. They were flying over the Mediterranean, at least they thought so. Hayes looked at maps, making calculations. Wind speed, direction, time. Approaching Libya coast, Hayes said. Radio operator Lamont sent signal to base. Soluch Air Base, Lady Be Good, position? Base, can't see you on radar. Are you over the coast? Lamont, yes, we're over the coast. But they weren't. Navigation error. Wind calculation was wrong. They'd already crossed the Mediterranean. They were now 440 miles inland from Libya coast, in the middle of the Sahara Desert. But they didn't know. Below was darkness, no lights. Hatton, can't see the coast, but fuel's running low. Fuel gauge, nearly empty. Toner, what do we do? Hatton, we bail out. April 4, 1943. Night, 21:30 hours. Hatton gave the order. Everyone grab chutes, we're bailing. The crew was shocked. Bailing over the sea? Moore asked. Hatton, we're close to coast. When we land, we swim to shore. British forces will find us. But there was no sea below, only Sahara. Bailout sequence. Bombardier Warovka jumped. Navigator Hayes jumped. Radio Lamont jumped. Gunner Shelley jumped. Gunner Moore jumped. Gunner Adams jumped. Engineer Ripsliner jumped. Co-pilot Toner jumped. Pilot Hatton jumped last. 9 men in darkness parachuted down. The aircraft continued flying on autopilot. Parachutes opened, swinging in darkness. Hatton looked down, couldn't see anything. Darkness. Must be sea, he thought. But he hit ground, sand, not sea, desert. He was shocked. This is Libya? But how? Looked around, darkness, not even moonlight. New moon, dark night. He shouted, Toner, Hayes, where are you? No sound, just wind. 9 men landed in darkness, miles apart from each other. But what happened to the aircraft will shock you even more. They searched until morning. Hatton walked, found nobody. Toner walked, nobody there. Moore walked, alone. The aircraft, 2 miles south, made a perfect landing. Autopilot on, aircraft slowly descended, soft landing on sand dune. Glass didn't break, engine undamaged. Inside, water, food, radio, survival equipment. But the crew never found the aircraft. April 5th, 1943, morning, 0600. Sun rose. Hatton looked around, endless sea of sand. Sahara Desert. No trees, no water, just sand. How did this happen? We were supposed to be over the Mediterranean. But the truth was clear. Navigation error. They're in the desert. He walked all morning, then heard a voice. Hatton, over here! He turned. Toner, his co-pilot. They embraced. You're alive too, Hatton said. They walked together, then found others. By afternoon, 5 men had reunited. Pilot Hatton, co-pilot Toner, navigator Hayes, engineer Ripslinger, gunner Adams. But 4 men couldn't be found. Bombardier Warovka, radio Lamont, gunner Shelley, gunner Moore. They had landed in different locations, never met up. Each would die alone. The 5 men gathered. Hatton, all right, boys, situation's bad, but we're alive. Plan, we walk north. Mediterranean coast is north, maybe 50-60 miles. We'll make it in 2-3 days. But north was 250 miles away, and they had no water. Toner, anyone have water? Nobody had water. Emergency bailout, they took nothing. Hayes, where's the plane? Maybe it crashed nearby. They looked around, nothing, just sand. The aircraft was 2 miles south, but they didn't know. Hatton, can't find the plane, we have to walk. North, let's go. And they began walking in the wrong direction. Co-pilot Robert Toner kept a diary, small notebook in his pocket, writing with pencil. This diary would be found 16 years later and would tell one of the world's most tragic survival stories. Day 1, April 5th, 1943. Toner wrote, Sunday, April 5th, 1943. Naples. Bailed out. Can't find rest of crew. 5 of us together. Hatton, Hayes, Ripslinger, Adams, me. No water. No food. Walking north to coast. Maybe 50 miles. Should take 2-3 days. Spirits good. First day they walked. Sun was burning. 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. Night came. Cold. 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius. Desert nights are freezing. No fire. No blankets. They shivered. Day 2, April 6th. Monday, April 6th. Still walking north. No water for 24 hours. Very thirsty. Tongue swelling. Moore not with us. Don't know where he is. Hope he's alive. Day 2, thirst began. Human body in hot desert loses 1 liter of water per day. Without water, you last 3 days. They had no water at all. Day 3, April 7th. Tuesday, April 7th. Walked 50 miles estimated. No coast. Only sand. Hayes thinks we're farther inland than we thought. Ripslinger weak. Adams vomiting. I can barely write. So thirsty. Day 3, reality setting in. They're not near the coast, they're deep in the desert. But how deep? They don't know. Answer: 440 miles inland. Day 4, April 8th. Wednesday, April 8th. Ripslinger collapsed. Can't walk anymore. We have to leave him. God forgive us. Still walking. So weak. Hallucinating water. Engineer Harold Ripslinger, 31 years old, collapsed. Couldn't get up. Hatton: Ripslinger, get up. We have to walk. Ripslinger: I can't. Leave me. You go. Hatton cried: I can't leave you. Ripslinger: Go. Survive. Tell our families. They left him. He died there. 4 men remained. Day 5, April 9th. Thursday, April 9th. Hatton died during the night. Woke up, he was gone. Cold. 3 of us left. Hayes, Adams, me. Barely walking. Crawling sometimes. I see water, but it's not real. Pilot William Hatton, 24 years old, died. Their commander. Their leader. Now 3 men: Toner, Hayes, Adams. Day 6, April 10th. Friday, April 10th. Hayes can't continue. Stopped. Adams and I keep going. Don't know why, just keep walking. North. Must be close. Navigator Deep Haze, 23 years old, collapsed. Toner and Adams continued. 2 men left. Day 7, April 11th. Saturday, April 11th. Adams collapsed. I'm alone. So tired. Can't feel legs. Still walking. Why am I walking? Where am I going? God, help. This was the last entry. Robert Toner, 24 years old, kept walking. 1 more day. Maybe 2. Then he fell and never got up again. But the fate of the other 4 men is even more haunting.
5 men died together, but 4 men never met up. Each walked alone, died alone. Vernon Moore, 20 years old, gunner. The strongest, the youngest. Walked alone 109 miles, 175 kilometers. The longest documented desert survival walk in human history. Ending in death. He had no diary, but his body was found the farthest away. Alone, he walked 109 miles and died. Guy Shelley, 23 years old, gunner. Walked 78 miles, alone. His body was found partially covered with parachute fabric. He'd tried to protect himself from the cold night. Robert Lamont, 21 years old, radio operator. Found with his parachute. Hadn't walked far. Maybe he was injured. John Warovka, 22 years old, bombardier. Youngest officer. His body was found closer than the others, but still alone. 9 men. None survived. November 9, 1958, 16 years later, British Petroleum Oil team was conducting geological surveys in the desert. They saw an aircraft. Lady Be Good. They went inside. They were shocked. The aircraft was in nearly perfect condition. 16 years in the Sahara, but the dry air had preserved it. They turned on the radio. It worked. They checked the guns. Clean, oiled. They found water canteens, full. Survival kit, intact. Lemonade bottles, drinkable. But no crew. The oil team reported, found abandoned American bomber in Libya. USAF, U.S. Air Force investigation team arrived. They examined the aircraft. Serial number 4124301. Lady Be Good. Missing since April 4, 1943. Declared lost 15 years earlier. But the aircraft was here. Where was the crew? February 1960, search began. Helicopters, jeeps, search teams. They scoured the desert. February 1960, found first body, 78 miles north, Guy Shelley. March 1960, found more, 85 miles north, William Hatton, Robert Toner, Dip Hayes, Harold Ripslinger, Samuel Adams. All 5 together, within a few miles of each other. Diaries beside them. May 1960, Vernon Moore found, 109 miles north, the farthest. August 1960, John Warovka. November 1960, Robert Lamont. 9 bodies, 9 diaries, 9 tragedies. Investigation completed. The truth emerged. The most tragic irony. Crew bailed out of aircraft, night, darkness. Aircraft continued on autopilot for 2 miles, then landed, perfect landing. Crew reunited in mourning, 5 of them, began walking north. But the aircraft was south 2 miles away. If they had walked south, they would have found the aircraft. Inside, 4 water canteens full, survival kit, food, medical supplies, radio, working. They could have called for help. Signal flares, lemonade. They could have survived, but they walked north. Why? Because Navigator Hayes thought Mediterranean is north, but Mediterranean was 250 miles north. Navigation error, 440 miles. Wind calculation was wrong. They'd already crossed it, but they didn't know. Second tragic irony. Vernon Moore, strongest, youngest, walked 109 miles. If he'd used that same energy walking south, he could have reached the aircraft 50 times over, but he walked the wrong direction and died. Third tragic irony. The aircraft waited 16 years. The radio was working. When turned on in 1958, the frequency was still correct. If the crew had found the aircraft, they could have made radio call in 1943, would have been rescued, but they never found it. It was 2 miles away, but they walked the wrong direction.